Well, hello everybody, welcome to Red Tool House. On today's video we're going to talk about what to do with chickens that have gotten long in the beak. They've passed their prime for egg laying. What do we do with them and what are some other options? Okay, so it's a rainy Saturday morning and a little cool. So what we've got is our collection of chickens here. These are all our egg layers that we have. I believe there's 60 plus. And some of these birds are been around a little longer than they need to be. They're definitely not laying, and I've got a couple that are actually egg eaters, so they're actually hurting production. And you can see got some broody ones over there in the box. They're not laying, they're just hanging out because they're broody. So we've got to thin the herd. So the first question, of course, is, well, how do you know who's ready to go and who gets to stick around? Well, there's all kinds of tests that you can do, supposedly. I've never had a ton of success with them as far as being 100% determined as to whether they're laying or not. And that's, you can inspect their vent. If the vent's still moist, if it's broader, if it's sealed up, then they're not laying. Number of fingers from the vent to the keel bone determines whether or not they're still producing eggs. I believe there's, you can even look at the color of their legs, the condition of their comb, their wattle, all that type of stuff. Again, some of that works for some people. It's been hit or miss in our experience. So what I've just gotten to the point of doing is I literally just keep track of the age of the bird. That pretty much when you know you've got a three-year bird and up, then the egg production's dropping down. When you get to like a 5-year, 6-year, you may have one that's completely dormant. Obviously I have with different breeds, so the breeds allow us to kind of keep track of that. I keep a little book to show, okay, this breed I bought on this date. Also with the black Australorps, which I keep constant rotation of black Australorps on, I'll put different leg bands on their legs, different colors. That way I can say, oh, that's a white, so that one is at least 5 years old. And that's kind of the situation I'm in now. It's been a while since we've culled. It's probably been 3+ years, so we're due to thin out. Okay, so what is my process in doing this? Well, normally, I would come down here at night when everybody's on the roost and simply just grab who I wanted, stick them in the cage, and the next morning take care of dispatching them. But where's the fun in that when it comes to video, right? You're not going to be able to see any of that in the dark. So this may be an exercise in futility. I thought, well, I'll give it a try here during the day. I've got the hoop house all closed off. I've purposely not fed them this morning, so they'll all be hanging around the feeder, so I should be able to grab and stuff who I need to. I got my cages here, my pet cages, and like I said, I've got a captive audience. We're going to start with the golden comets. Those are the ones that are kind of blondish. They're definitely some of the oldest. They're going on 5 years plus probably. And so we're going to try to grab those. I'm going to put some feed in the bin here and see what we can do. Don't do it, chickens, it's a trap. My Duncan feeder's still working quite well. If you want to check those out, I believe we still have a discount code on these. I'll link below. Takes a full 50 pounds. Chicken feed. Can't believe you fell for the oldest trick in the book. Could you get out of the feed, please? Bird number one. Mic cord out of the way. Bird number two. Let's just So close. All right, so next on the list is any shut up! Any black Australorp that has a white zip tie on their leg. They're the older of the ones. So we'll just have to check them out here as we go along. There's one. Okay, so my cages are a little full and I still have some more to grab, so I'm gonna go ahead and take care of these ladies first and then we'll come back for more. So going from an 80-degree hoop house to 50-some degrees out here in the middle of the wide open, this is going to be good for the old sinuses. Let's get the cone. Okay, this is not to be confused with the cone of shame. This is the cone of death. It's so loud. So what are the options with these older birds? My goodness, they're loud. Well, obviously we're going to dispatch them. You're not going to take evidently they know what the word dispatch means. You're not going to take an old bird like this and prep it and make a fryer out of it. Roaster, it's not even going to be that good as a roaster. They're just too old, they're too tough. Now they'd have a lot of flavor, but they would just be too tough. You could obviously take these and use them for crock pot, a crock pot meal or a soup or stew or something like that. Something where you're going to have a long cooking process and you may get them to soften up enough. We've got 2 freezers already full of chickens right now, so we're kind of at a rub there where I don't like to waste anything, but yet I don't want to have all these chickens piled up in my freezer. I don't want to have to start up my walk-in freezer just for a handful of birds. That costs $150 a month in electricity to run that walk-in, and it would be a shame to do that just for the small amount of birds. So, good night. So another thing you can do is you can compost them. So if you had a big pile of wood chips and you want to have some compost, you could obviously kill them, bury them in your wood chips, and that'd be a lot of organic material to fold in with that carbon and be able to get some composting going there. Some of y'all make dog food. You do raw dog food, do your own dog food mix out of that. Again, something you're going to have to strip down, cook, and prepare for your dogs, and mix with some other ingredients. It's my understanding that you don't want to just give your dogs raw chicken over and over again because they're going to have deficiencies, mineral deficiencies elsewhere. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take advantage of all this free protein and skip the part of having to clean them, and we're going to feed them to our pigs. Our pigs love chicken. When we have one that dies prematurely or something happens there, I can toss it into the pig pasture and they clean it up, feathers and all. So that's probably what we're going to do here. Our pigs need some extra protein, so we're going to give that a go. Well, excuse the grisliness of this, but check this out. That golden comet has a pretty kicking spur. That thing lit me up. I thought, what in the world? And after I had it in the killing coon, discovered that she's got a spur. So I wonder if she was ever an egg layer or not. Or she may have just had some extra chromosomes there to give her one spur, but just a nub on the other, of course, like most hens do, but then a full-blown spur on the other side. Well, okay, I left out the gruesome parts because I know YouTube's not a big fan of farm life, so we'll leave this part out. You obviously know what happens here. So we have 26 that we've culled, and it pretty much cut my flock in half. I was about 60 birds, maybe a little bit more with Cam's chickens in there. So we've got 26 that we've taken out of the lineup, and they had good lives. They got to be chickens all the way up to this last day. And again, not a fun part of the job, not a fun part of the homestead, but it's a necessity. You got to thin them out. I don't know which would be worse, living great up until the last day, or dying a slow death of old age and being picked on by the other chickens. So some of these were definitely past their prime. So we're going to take care of these, and then we'll look at obviously adding back to our flock with a new line of chicks, and maybe explore some other breed options. All right, take care, everybody.